Best ways to invest your first $1,000 in 2026. Okay, so you've got $1,000. Maybe it's from a tax refund. Maybe you saved it up over a few months. Maybe someone gave it to you, doesn't matter. The point is, it's sitting there and you don't want to just leave it in a checking account doing absolutely nothing. And honestly, good. Because that feeling that I should do something smart with this feeling, that's the right feeling. Most people never even get there. But here's where it gets confusing. You Google how to invest $1,000, and suddenly you've got 47 tabs open, everyone saying something different, and you're more lost than when you started. So today I'm going to cut through all of that. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think are the best ways to put your first $1,000 to work in 2026, why each one makes sense, and which one is probably right for you depending on where you're at. Let's go. But first, one question you have to answer. Before we even talk about where to put this money, there's one thing you have to be honest with yourself about. Do you have any high-interest debt? Because if you have credit card debt sitting at 22% or 24% interest, I'm going to be straight with you. Paying that off first is the investment. Like, you are not going to find a guaranteed 22% return anywhere in the market. That doesn't exist. But eliminating a 22% interest charge, that's exactly the same thing mathematically. So if you've got that kind of debt, take at least a portion of this $1,000 and throw it that first. Not all of it necessarily, but some of it, please. Also, do you have even a small emergency fund? Like at least $500 to $1,000 sitting somewhere accessible? Because if you invest all $1,000 and then your car breaks down next month, you're pulling that money right back out, possibly at a loss. So just make sure you've got a small cushion before you lock anything up. Okay, assuming you're past both of those things, here's where it gets interesting. Option 1, a high-yield savings account. I know. A savings account sounds boring. But hear me out for a second. A regular savings account at most big banks is paying you something like 0.01% interest, which is basically nothing. Basically insulting, honestly. But a high-yield savings account, the kind you can open online in about 10 minutes, is paying somewhere around 4% to 5% right now, depending on the account, and when you're watching this. That is not nothing. On $1,000, that's $40 to $50 a year just for having money sit there. Now, this isn't going to make you rich, but here's why it matters. If this $1,000 is money you might need in the next 6 to 12 months, this is where it should live. You don't want to put money in the stock market that you might need soon, because the market can go down and stay down for a while, and then you're forced to sell at a bad time. High-yield savings is safe. It's liquid, meaning you can take it out whenever, and it actually earns something. Marcus, Ally, SoFi, American Express all have solid options right now. Takes like 10 minutes to open one. So that's option 1. Low risk, low return, but totally solid if you need the flexibility. Option 2, index funds, the one most people should start with. Okay, so this is the one I'd point most people toward if they're genuinely investing for the first time and don't need this money for at least 3 to 5 years. An index fund basically just buys a tiny piece of every big company in a certain market. So like an S&P 500 index fund buys a little slice of Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, like 500 companies total. And when those companies do well, your money grows. The reason this is so good for beginners is you're not betting on one company. You're betting on the whole market. And historically, the U.S. stock market has gone up over long periods of time, even with all the crashes and scary moments along the way. Over the last 30 years, the average annual return on the S&P 500 has been somewhere around 10% to 11% per year. Obviously, some years are up, some years are down, but over time, that average holds. And here's the part that kind of blows people's minds. If you put $1,000 into an S&P 500 index fund today and just left it there for 30 years and never added another dollar, at that historical average, it would grow to somewhere around $17,000 to $20,000. From $1,000, you didn't do anything. You just waited. Now imagine if you kept adding to it every month. That number gets genuinely crazy. You can buy index funds through Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. No minimums on most of them now. Fidelity even has some with zero fees at all. You open an account, you pick a fund like FXAIX or VO, and you buy. That's literally, and this is not complicated. People make it sound complicated. It's not. Option 3, a Roth IRA, the most underrated account for young people. Okay, this one, I genuinely get a little passionate about because I think so many people sleep on it, and it drives me a little crazy. A Roth IRA is not an investment itself. It's more like a special container that you put investments inside. And the magic of it is, whatever grows inside that container, you never pay taxes on it when you take it out in retirement. So if you put $1,000 into a Roth IRA today, invest it in an index fund inside there, and it grows to $20,000 over 30 years, that whole $20,000 comes out tax-free. Not taxed at 15%, not taxed at 20%, zero, nothing. The government doesn't get a cut. Compare that to a regular brokerage account where you're paying capital gains tax every time you sell something. Over decades, that difference is massive. The limit right now is $7,000 a year you can put in if you're under 50. So your $1,000 fits easily. You need earned income to contribute, meaning you need to actually have a job or freelance income. But other than that, almost anyone can open one. Fidelity and Vanguard both let you open a Roth IRA with no minimum. You can open one this weekend if you wanted to. The tax-free growth over decades is one of the best deals the government actually offers regular people, and most regular people don't use it. Option 4, fractional shares of individual stocks. So this one is a little different, and I want to be upfront about that. Index funds are the safer, smarter move for most people. But some people, especially when they're just starting out, want to feel connected to what they're investing in. They want to buy a piece of a company they actually believe in. And that's okay, as long as you go in with eyes open. The good news is you don't need to buy a whole share of a company anymore. Like one share of Amazon or Google is hundreds of dollars. But through apps like Fidelity, Schwab, or even Robinhood, you can buy fractional shares. So you can put $50 into Apple and own a tiny piece of it. If you want to do this with a portion of your $1,000, maybe $100 to $200, I don't think that's crazy. It can actually be a great way to learn how the market works, how to read a little bit about companies, and feel engaged with your money. But, and this is important, don't put all $1,000 into one or two stocks. That's gambling, not investing. Spread it around if you go this route, and keep the majority in something more diversified like an index fund. Option 5, investing in yourself. Okay, I know this sounds like a motivational poster, but stay with me. Depending on where you are in your career, spending some of that $1,000 on a course, a certification, or a skill that directly makes you more money might be the highest return investment you can make. Like a $300 online course that helps you get a raise or land a better job. That could return thousands of dollars a year, every year for the rest of your career. The return on that is insane compared to almost any financial investment. This doesn't mean spend all $1,000 on random self-help stuff. Be specific. Is there a skill that would directly increase your income in the next year or two? A certification your industry respects? A tool you need to learn to move up? If yes, maybe $200 to $300 of this $1,000 goes there, and the rest goes into a Roth IRA or index fund. That's a genuinely smart split. So let me bring this all together because I know that was a lot. If you have high interest debt, attack that first. If you don't have a small emergency fund, build one. And if you're past both of those things, Here's honestly what I'd do with $1,000 in 2026. I'd open a Roth IRA at Fidelity, put the $1,000 in there, and buy an S&P 500 index fund with it. Done. That's it. Takes one afternoon, costs you nothing in fees. And that money starts working immediately in a tax-free account. Then I'd set up even a small automatic monthly contribution, like $50 or $100 a month, and just keep adding to it. Don't look at it every day. Don't panic when the market dips. Just let it sit and grow. That's not a hot take. That's not some secret strategy. It's just what actually works for normal people who aren't finance professionals and don't want to spend their weekends analyzing stocks. The hardest part of investing your first $1,000 is just starting. Because once you see that number growing, even a little, something shifts. You stop seeing money as something to spend and start seeing it as something that works for you. And that shift, honestly, is worth more than the $1,000 itself. If this helped you, drop a comment and tell me where you're thinking of putting your first $1,000. I read all of them. And if you want me to go deeper on any of these options, how to pick an index fund, anything like that, just say the word and I'll make it. See you in the next one. New video every week. Subscribe so you don't miss it.